Well, we are back on another video on the baby Camry Corolla, which we have done some couple of things on the previous video. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. The link is at the top right hand corner. Go check that video out before you watch this video. And I think on this video we're going to attempt to start it, or we're going to actually start it. Let's recap on what we have accomplished so far. We were able to remove everything out of the car so that we could be able to clean the interior. Not only did we clean the interior, but we also removed a lot of rust from the boot. Got the seat, the mat cleaned and back on the car. Also got the dashboard refreshed and back on the car. Cluster also got refreshed, but that's just a quarter of what we have accomplished so far. If you're new to the channel, you're just asking yourself what is actually happening. This is a baby Camry, a new project that I just bought, and if you're a new subscriber, you won't know it, but I just want to say welcome to the channel. And this is a new build that we're going to revive. It must come back to life. It was abandoned for more than 3 years, so we're going to try to revive it. But now the focus is no longer on the other stuff, it's on the engine bay, which is getting closer to us stashing this car. So let's continue what we left off on the previous video. Now I'm installing the starter motor, since we have discovered that it works flawlessly. Now we know that the starter motor actually works, so we're going to install it on the car. And that's what we are doing right here, because the starter motor is actually located behind the engine, or should I say under the carburetor. And before we continue where we left off, don't forget to hit that like button, to hit that subscribe button. So now let's get back to the video. So we got the starter motor in. As you can see, the bolt over here and another bolt over there. So we got the starter motor in. We need to feed in the oil pump. Then we need to check the timing and check if the car is having spark. Check if the petrol pump actually pumping petrol. We don't even know if the petrol tank is actually clean, so we're just going to buy a 5-liter petrol. Then we're going to put it over there. Then the petrol will be coming from the 5-liter, and we're going to see if the car will start. So in here we have the new oil pump that we're going to fit on the car, because the previous owner told me that there is a problem with the oil pump. He's not actually sure, but I decided just to buy an oil pump just to make sure. And I did check if the car has oil, and it definitely has a brand new, never used oil in it, which means the car was serviced or something, or they've rebuilt the engine. Like I've said, maybe they've rebuilt the engine and something went wrong, and then they stopped with the engine. We don't actually know what actually happened, but what we know is that we need to replace this and attempt to start the car and see if it will actually start. So right now, this is what we need to replace. If you're wondering how much it cost me for the oil pump, here is the total price. I don't know if you can see it. It's 220 over there. That is 220. I paid 220 for the oil pump. So yeah, there was supposed to be a cover here, and I think I do have it in the car, but there's supposed to be a cover here that we need to remove first, with a bolt over here, with another one over here. But because it is already off, we have this one to remove, which is a bolt over here and a bolt over there and a bolt down there. And we also need to do this, which will mean that we will need to time the car again, so which is something that I was prepared for, because I wanted to time the car by myself, because I don't know if they did it correctly or not. So yeah, so this pulley down here is the first one that needs to be removed. Then this will be next. You see, this bolt is actually loose. This bolt over here is actually loose. It wasn't tightened at all, and I can remove it by hand. Check that out. Not looking good, right? So this is out. The bolt is going back in. Now I'm just gonna remove the cover, which is being held by a 10mm bolt, so that we'll be able to have access to the oil pump. After removing the cover, I'm just gonna loosen the timing belt so that I can remove the tensioner, which is going to give me more access to remove the oil pump. So we got this timing correct, and it looks like that one is also correct, which means the car is on timing. I just wanted to check if the car was set on time so that I'll be able to know that there's no valve that was bent. Now because the timing is correct, which means there might not be any valve that is bent, but we don't know because I removed the oil pump. Was so simple because the bolts were not actually tight. So I'm thinking, what if there are components in the engine that are not actually tight? So what I want to do is check if the piston are actually tightened, because I think that's the only thing. If it is not tightened, it will blow off with the engine. So I want to remove the sump. So we're going to drain the oil. The oil that I'm going to drain it, and I'm going to reuse the oil because the oil is pretty much new. As you can see, it is pretty much new. I'm going to reuse it. I'm just going to drain the oil, then remove the sump, then check all the bolts. Then we're going to put the sump back if everything is checked the way it's supposed to be, or if everything is the way it's supposed to be. So now I just want to jack up the car. Then we're going to get under it and remove the sump.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Because now the car is jacked up in here, I'm going to drain the oil. So I have this, it is completely clean, 100% clean, and I have this funnel is also clean, you can see from the inside. So I'm just going to put it like this so that all the oil can go inside of this container. So here is the drain plug. I'm just going to undo it. I think it is a 15 or 16 mil, I'm not sure. Then all the oil is going to go in here. Then yeah. Well, I was about to remove the bolt to drain the oil, but let me show you why I did not. So I didn't remove the bolt to drain the oil because it's actually hard to see the bolt on the sump over there. So, and I don't think I can see the bolt, but I don't think I can get a tool to remove the bolt. So what I'm thinking of doing now is removing this subframe because it's in the way. At first I was thinking of removing the whole engine, but I don't have the right equipment to remove the engine, so the subframe is the only thing that I can remove and get to all the bolts that I want to do on this. Drain the oil, then get the sump out. The reason that I want to get the sump out is because I don't know what's actually happening with this car, so I just want to bolt check everything. So I want to check the bolts on the con rods. I just want to check those bolts if they are actually tight or not, because if they are not tight, if I just jump on starting the car, there might be the engine might die or the block might be blown by the piston. So I don't want that to happen because I saw the oil pump was not tight at all. So my mind was like, what the heck? So let's check everything if it is bolted the way it's supposed to be, because I don't want to jump to starting the car then find out that the engine is dead. Now I have to find another engine. So I don't want to do that. I'd rather check now. So that's what I'm planning to do now. I'm just going to remove the subframe. So let's do it. So we need to remove this engine and gearbox mount, but I'm not going to remove it here. I'm just going to remove it at the bottom so that I can get the subframe out. And I'm going to do the same thing with the other mount down there. Those are the only two mounts that I need to remove. Then the whole subframe will come out. Removing the two mounts, the only thing that was left to do is to remove the whole subframe. Well, not really all of it, but this part of the subframe. I was able to get part of the subframe off, and it actually gave me the full access to the two bolts over there. And now I can remove the sump. I can drain the oil, then remove the sump. So I'm just gonna drain the oil. So we got the oil drained. So we got the sump out, and what I'm going to do is tighten all the bolts to their spec. If they're tightened to their spec, then it means everything on this engine will be 100% correct, and I won't worry when the car is running. So I just wanted to do this for peace of mind. So yeah, now I'm just gonna tighten them, clean that, and get it back on the car. Since we were able to get the sump out, I was able to clean out the whole area, even though this part I wasn't able to clean because of the curve and because of the way it is inside. But I think if I put a lot of sealant, and I'm still going to try to clean it even further, but I did the same thing on this side. I also cleaned that side, and I also cleaned where the oil pump is going to be placed. I made sure to clean the whole area. And there was this bolt right here that was broken on the inside right over here. It was I I think they put a long bolt where there's supposed to be a short bolt, and then they broke the bolt, then they left it like that. So I had to remove it, and I also cleaned the whole area, preparing it for the new oil pump to go in. And if you can listen to the tensioner, the tensioner is making a lot of sound, and that means the tensioner is gone, and I think I need to replace this tensioner and the other tensioner. And the water pump, it is not moving at all. It wasn't moving before, but now it's moving a little bit, and I think I need to replace the water pump as well. So for the moment, I'm going to fit in the oil pump, then fit in the sump after it is dry, because it is behind that tree over there. It is drying up, facing the sun. And I also need to buy the mount, because you can see. So I also need to buy a mount. I didn't think that I was going to spend a lot of money on this car, but I think I'm still going to spend some kind of money on it. But hopefully it's not a lot. And well, I think in the end it might be worth it, but we will see. And if you're wondering about the piston, I did tighten them down, and they're ready for the car to start. Now I'm just going to prepare the oil pump to go back in the car. And after that, the sump is going to go back in. The sump is already clean, prepared to go back on the car. The only thing that is left is to put some sealant on it, and it's back on the block. After applying the seal, it's time for the sump to go back on the block. All I have to do is make sure to tighten the sump in a cross pattern, which will allow the sump to sit flat to the block. And I did use this method before, and there was no leak at all. The most important thing that I had to remember was the two bolts that are close to the gearbox, because majority of time people do not tighten those bolts, and they tend to make an oil leak. So I make sure not to forget them. After installing the sump, it's time to bolt back the exhaust manifold. And I would say that will be pretty much it for now. So we got the oil pump in, and we're missing an O-ring over there, because that oil pump did not have any oil ring at all. We got the sump in, we got the exhaust back on. We are left with the subframe, and the subframe needs to be cleaned before it goes back on the car. So over here we got the new oil seal that I was looking for. I don't know if they call it oil seal or what, but this is what I was looking for. We got a new mount, and we got an oil filter and some new oil. Well, this is cheap oil, but I think it will work for now. And all of them, they've cost me 300 and something, 384. So right now what I want to do is install that ring over there. This old rubber ring goes between the camshaft and the oil pump. It prevents any oil leak. Basically, that's the whole purpose of it, to prevent any oil leak. So now what we have to do is remove this tensioner. I am removing this tensioner, as I've said that I'm going to replace it, both of the tensioners, and I'm also going to replace the water pump. So that's what I'm going to do next. So we're just going to use a 10mm to remove the water pump. We have a bolt down there. I don't know if this will be able to go in, because this is in the way. So I'm going to try to find another way to get to that bolt. At first I thought I could remove the water pump without removing the engine mount, but as I was busy removing the water pump, there was no space, there was no way I could do it without removing the mount. So in the end I ended up removing the engine mount in order to have access to remove the water pump. it looks like to remove the water pump I need to remove the mount. I need to remove this mount in order for me to have access to remove them. So I think that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to jack the engine up, then remove this mount. I absolutely don't have any idea, any method of how to remove the water pump, how to remove the oil pump, or any of the components that I'm removing right now. But I think it would be better for me to try to do it myself than to give it to someone else to do it for me. Because I think it would be better if I ruin my car than someone else to ruin it for me. This has been annoying me for days. Just imagine paying someone to ruin your car for you. And let's be honest, not all mechanics are really good at what they are doing. I'd rather have a trial and error on my side than to pay someone to ruin my car. The mount is out, and the reason that I removed the mount is because these two bolts I wasn't able to get to because they were behind, because they were blocked by the mount. So I've removed the mount, which means now I can remove the water pump. And it looks like this is the original water pump because it's written Toyota over there, which means this water pump was never removed at all. And it's a good thing that we are removing it, because I think the bearing on the inside is broken because it is not moving at all. So let's remove it and then install a new one. Since I've removed the mount and the water pump, I have more space to clean, so I decided to clean the engine bay just to make it look much better than it was before. And I also decided to remove the alternator to have more space, and I want to test the alternator if it works. Everything that I'm touching right now, I'm just going to make sure that I test if it works, or I'm going to try to clean it to make it much better. That when the car is running, majority of the components on the car are actually in a perfect condition and they're actually looking brand new. The alternator is one of those things that needs to be tested and refreshed. Plus, where it is sitting in the engine bay, it is actually visible and it needs to be refreshed. We have removed the mount, we have removed the water pump, and I was about to clean the whole area. Then I thought of removing the alternator, and I'm going to clean the whole area, this area. Since I got the alternator out, I was able to remove this mount. So this is the rear mount, and it's also damaged, and I think this is the perfect time to actually replace it. I don't know if I should replace it or not, but this one is not as bad as the other one, but it is also bad. So I'm thinking of also replacing it, but I'm not actually sure because I don't want to spend too much money on the car. So I decided to clean there where the mount is at. I'm just using the prober to push all of the dirt down there. So that's what I'm basically doing right now. So I was about to clean and paint the alternator, but I decided just to check if it works or not. But I think the bearing are gone on this one. So this alternator, the bearings are actually gone, and this is going to make a lot of sound from the engine. So for now, I'm not going to paint it, I'm not going to do anything to it, I'm just going to leave it as is. And I wanted to do the wiper motors, I wanted to do the wiper blades, clean them up. I already did that. The only thing is left is to paint them. And I have this bracket which I want to paint silver. I know it's going to get a lot of dirt on it, but I just want it to look good. But I think the cleaning things that I wanted to clean, I'm just going to put them aside and focus on starting the car, because I have this bracket that covers the steering rack, the cover that covers the timing belt, and we have the carburetor cover, which needs to go back on the car. But I'm not going to do that right now because they're not actually important. I think what I need to do now is to install everything back. We do have a lot of space, but before I do that, I think I'm going to paint all the part that when I clean them, they are not able to get back to their normal state. So I'm just going to paint this area, go in there, so that it could be a little bit white, because I do have a spray can over here, a white spray can. I'm going to use it just to clean the engine a little bit more before we install everything back on the car. So this is the result of cleaning this side, and this is the minimum clean that we did on previous video. Well, this side is not actually looking clean no more. This looks new, not really new, but looks so clean. Now that the side that we're working on is 100% clean and we have removed the water pump, it's time to prepare where the water pump is going to be placed for the new water pump to go in. The water pump comes with a seal on the package, but I'm going to use that seal and an extra seal just to make sure that there won't be any water leakage. And this is my other seal. It works pretty well. Well, we managed to get a lot of things on the car, and we managed to replace majority of things such as the oil pump, the water pump, and we were able to check all the bolts so that the car will be ready to get the first start up. But I underestimated the work that the car really needed, because I thought on this video I'm going to start the car, but unfortunately I won't be able to do that, and the video is going to be long if I keep on going. So I guess I'll see you guys on the next one. If you haven't hit that like button, you haven't hit the subscribe button, make sure to do that, so that on the next video I'll be motivated to give you more content. So make sure to hit that like button, because if the channel is not growing, what will be the point? If you don't like the video, what will be the point of you watching the video or not liking the video? So I guess I'll see you guys on the next one. So we got this timing correct, and it looks like that one is also correct, which means the car is on timing, which is a good thing. So we just have to remove the oil pump, and I'm not actually sure if maybe the oil pump works or not, but I'm not entirely sure. I'm just gonna remove it just in case. So yeah, but I'm gonna make sure that the timing is still on time.